Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking this hot mama from a blondie to a dimensional brunette. It's going to be amazing, a quick little triple process. So if you're wanting to watch this, let's get started. I'm going to start off with my all-time favorite lightener. You guys know I love this by now. It's going to be Schwarzkopf Blonde Me and 20 volume, and I'm going to mix it together and add Olaplex. And I know you're probably confused on why I'm going to be mixing up lightener if I'm taking her darker. I'll get back into that in a minute. For her low light, I'm going to be using Shades EQ 7NB, 6CR, 6N, 5G, and 5N with 10 volume just to have a little bit more longevity, and I'll go into more of why these tones whenever we are low lighting. Alright you guys, so now I am going in with my partial highlight. This is what's going to break up her new growth, and I know it might be a little confusing. Why would he be going in with a partial highlight if he's taking someone darker? I'm not overlapping the bleach at all. I'm just breaking up where her previous root is. Since she is gray, she does have permanent color on her root. I'm kind of breaking that up a little bit with a few back-to-back baby lights just on the hairline. This is also going to ensure whenever I tone her at the bowl and do her root smudge there, that is going to make sure it's not such a harsh root. I feel like most of the time, whenever you're going from blonde to brown, that your root can go a little too harsh. It can almost suck it all the way up just because your previously lightened hair is the look going to be a little more porous. But doing it this way is going to make sure that it's going to be nice and blended.
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the door closes starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground.
Alright, and as you can see here, I'm going to be working off of her hairline. I'm not doing this to make any money pieces or an effect like that. What I'm going to be doing is the same thing I'm doing for the partial. I'm just going to be breaking up that band of permanent color and not pulling it all the way through her ends. I'm not wanting a pop piece or anything like that since I'm taking her to the darker side. What I'm going to be doing is just going over where we have previously coated that 7N in on her, since we will be going darker to probably about a 5N in whenever we're doing touching up her grays. We're just breaking that up so whenever she pulls her hair up into a ponytail, she's going to look very nice and soft and blended.
I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I forgive the pain you gave to me so long ago. Sleepless nights I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven showed me how to.
Alright you guys, so now to the tricky part, which is filling hair. I feel like a lot of people get confused on this process. I'm going to break it down as easy as simply as I can. So what I'm going to be using again is 7NB, 6CR, 6N, 5G, and 5N. So 5N is going to be my base of the color, and all the previous tones that I mentioned are just going to be little dashes of pigment that I add into my 5N. So when it comes to filling hair, I always think of my desired level. My client right here is going to be about a level 8, so, and I want to take her to about a level 5. So if I was to put bleach on a level 5 hair, I know it's going to go red, I know it's going to go orange, I know it's going to go yellow, so I am basically doing the reverse effect. I'm thinking of all the colors that would be lifted out of a level 5 to get to an 8, I'm reversing it and adding those tones back into the hair with color. So I'm adding in my warm tones, I'm adding in my red tones, and that's what's going to fill the hair. If you weren't to do this process, it's going to either go green or go super muddy, and restoring these warm pigments is what will ensure the hair looks saturated and not muddy or dishwatery. And you guys, I hope all of that made sense to you. If you have any more questions, just leave it in the comments and I'll be happy to answer it. As far as my placement for this right here is going to be just bricklaying a couple low lights everywhere besides where I did the partial.
Say goodbye.
And now to the third and final process. We're going to be covering up those pesky grays. I'm going to go to my go-to gray coverage line, which is the Bureau K-Pack by Joico. I'm going to be using 5 NM and 20 volume. I'm going to let this sit for about 25 to 35 minutes. I'm just going to be keeping an eye on it. Usually what I do whenever I have my developer is just add a 15 to it. So if I'm using 20 volume, I'm adding 15 to it. So I'm going to let it sit probably about 35 minutes. What I'm doing is just going through and really saturating everything in between the foils. You saw where I was cutting on top and on bottom, and then I'm going to be getting to these thicker sections where I've kind of broken it up where I'm not adding a low light or a highlight. What I'm going to be doing this section, is just going in and covering it, pretending that it's just a normal quadrant. I'm going to do the perimeter and then go through with thin layers and go ahead and cover those.
I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye.
Alright, you guys, so now to rooting at the bowl. What I'm using is Redken Shade ZQ 5N 6NA. I'm using 5N as my base, so I have an ounce of that, and then I have 1/4 of an ounce of 6NA. The reason I put 6NA in there is because I wanted to counteract any warm tones we got, maybe by lifting or depositing. I know sometimes whenever you're using 20 volume, it does have a little bit of lifting power. Whenever you're using gray coverage in between those foils, it's obviously incubating the heat, and sometimes it can go a little warm. So that's why I'm using my 6NA. The reason I'm using 5N is to match that gray coverage. If you remember, we used 5NN in between all of her foils to cover those pesky grays. So that's why I'm using 5N, just to stay consistent.
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the dark closest starts to end.
Okay, you guys, so I'm just going to blend each section like I always do to get that perfect blend, and then tone everything else with 7NB, 7GB, 6N, 7P. All of these tones are going to help really well with the extensions that we're going to do. And I don't have footage of me toning, but I will insert right here some footage of her before I put her extensions in. And you guys, check out this after. She is such a babe. This color pairs so well with her skin tone and her eye color. And what we're going to be doing is throwing in extensions in the color, the Trini and the Kendra. You guys, I hope you watch this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I hope you guys have a great day.
Say goodbye.